जन तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा जय राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधा गोपी लक्ष्मी भगवान की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय, साई वल्लभ भगवान की जय, श्री ब्रह्ममय भगवान गुरु संत की। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौ ब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाण प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिमित्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं श्री परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम् ओम पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सभ्याभ्यन्तरं सुचे श्री विष्णु चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहात्मभाग्यनिर्वापनं श्रेयकैरिव चन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वत्मस्थापनं परं विजेते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनं नामकार्य बहुड़ा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्राधिपा नियमिता स्मरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशं ह्य जानननुरागः तृणादपि सुनिचेन तरुरपि सहिष्णुना अमाननीयमानदेन कीर्तनय सदा नदनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितं वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतद्भक्तिरवैतकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करपतितमामिष मे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजधूलिसदर्शं विचिन्तया नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुधाय गिरा पुलकिर्निचितं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्रवर्षायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दं विरहेण मे अश्लीष्यवापादरतं पिनस्तु मामादर्शनं मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा विदहतो लम्पतो मात्प्रणनाथास्तु वेवनापरा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Dandot Pranam, please accept my humble obeisances. Happy Ekadashi for every one of you who has joined.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Santosh Aitya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam. Padma Mataji from Bangalore, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Srinivas Prabhu, thank you for joining. Subara Prabhu and Nirupama Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Sandeep Prabhu, very well.
Haribol, Prabhuji.
Thank you for coming.
Hare.
Akshay Mataji, thank you for coming. Shirsha Mataji and Satya Srinivas Prabhu, Dandot Pranam, thank you for joining.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Chandramani Prabhu, Dandot Pranam. Mataji also Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhu and Puna Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Hare Krishna. Pawan Prabhu and Sandhya Mataji, Dandot Pranam, thank you for coming. Pawan Ranga Prabhu, thank you for joining. Suma Mataji, Dandot Pranam, thank you for joining Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Veer Prabhu, Dandot Pranam. Padma Mataji, Padma Gandhi Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Tulsi Mataji and Srinivas Acharya Prabhu, thank you for joining. Vinala Mataji, Haribo,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Brahmarama Mataji, thank you for joining. Rajesh Prabhu, Haribo, thank you for joining. Oh, Navya Mataji has joined. Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam, thank you for joining, Mataji. Swapna Mataji, thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Ayer Prabhuji and Meera Mataji and Anuradha Mataji and the whole family, Dandot Pranam, Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving your time. Kiran Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam. Raju Prabhu,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna. Sanjay Prabhu,
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Anila Mataji, thank you for joining. Hare Krishna. Ram Reddy Prabhu and whole family, Dandot Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Balamani Mataji, Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. Madhusudan Rao Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
One Prabhu and Pooja Mataji, Dandot Pranam, thank you for
Hare
joining.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Soumya Mataji, Hare Krishna. Akinjan Prabhu and Shobha Kumari Mataji, Dandot Pranam, thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Lakshman Kumar Prabhu, thank you for joining. Hare Krishna. Swati Mataji, thank you for joining. Pawan Prabhu, Dandot Pranam, thank you for joining, Prabhuji. Ashil Prabhu, Dandot Pranam, Hare Krishna. Sri Hari Prabhu and Mataji, thank you for joining. So I'm actually very grateful. If I have not taken somebody's name, please forgive me. I like to pay my obeisances to all of you because of all of you, I'm continuing in devotion. Otherwise, what is the hope? There is no hope. So today, Praveen Prabhu has conveyed that I should speak on the 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam from 3rd Canto. Am I clearly audible and loud enough? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So today, Prabhuji has said in the sequence of chapters that all of us are spending time with, I'm getting this 9th chapter, and I'm so grateful actually that this chapter is given to me, because this is one of the most. Every chapter is important, but this is our Sampradaya Acharya. We are Brahma Matva God Sampradaya. So it is Lord Brahma who is our Sampradaya Acharya. There are other Sampradaya Acharyas, Srimati Lakshmi Devi, the 4 Kumaras, the Shri Lakshmi Devi 4 Kumaras, and Lord Shiva, Rudra Sampradaya. This is Brahma Sampradaya. And in this Brahma Sampradaya, I'm getting to read the first prayers of Lord Brahma. It's such a fortunate thing I felt. And while I was reading through the purports and verses of this chapter, I really felt that this chapter actually deserves many, many weeks of discussion. Because every single verse that Lord Brahma says to glorify Lord Krishna is so instructive. And I almost felt that the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are being covered in this 44 verses of this chapter. 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Whatever Lord Krishna instructed Arjuna, I felt that Lord Brahma is following exactly the same mode before he performs his job. Arjuna's job was to perform the war. and establish dharma. And here, Lord Brahma's job is to create the universe, right? Is to create the facility for all the living entities to come and live. And before he does that, this is the chapter that he's talking about, the prayers. And exactly before the war is Bhagavad Gita. If you see both of them, almost just before the greatest task is going to be done, right? Just before he's going to start the creation, Lord Brahma, as we have discussed, I'm sure other Prabhujis have covered. I'm sorry I could not attend the um, previous chapters that were discussed by Prabhujis. I'm yet to hear the recordings. But I'm sure you would have nicely explained how we have reached here. So there's a discussion going on with Maitreya Muni and Vidura. And at this point, Brahma, who has appeared out of Garbhodakshai, Vishnu, out of the navel, the lotus has come out and he has appeared. And he tried to take darshan of Lord Vishnu by going back, right? By going back, he tried to take darshan, but he could not. And then he comes back and then he follows the order that comes from within saying, do tapasya, do penance. And he has completed that. And now Krishna has given him his darshan, right? After this, just before he starts the creation, Lord Krishna has given him darshan. And as soon as he saw Lord Krishna, these are the prayers that he recites. Right? So we will do a thing, we will recite the first prayer, the whole Sanskrit verse, and then we will start reading the translations verse by verse, and I will try to repeat specifically any important points that Srila Prabhupada has given for us to understand behind each one of these verses. Okay. So here I'm sharing the screen. Yeah. You can see my screen, right? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Brahmovacha Jnato asmi me adya suchiran nanu deha bhajam na jnayate bhagavato gatir iti avadhyam nanyatvad asti bhagavan api tanna shuddham maya guna vyatikarad yad purur vibhashi. What is the meaning of this? Synonyms. Brahma Vacha, Lord Brahma said, Jnata, known, Asi, you are, me, by me, me, by me, Adhya, today, Suchirat, after a long time, Nanu, but, Deha Bhajam, of one who has a material body, not, Jnayate, is known, Bhagavata, of the personality of Godhead, Gati, course, iti, so it is, avadhyam, great offenses, na anyat, none beyond, tvat, you, asti, there is, Bhagavan, O my Lord, api, even though there is tat, anything that may be, na, never, shuddham, absolute, maya, material energy, guna vyatikarat, because of the mixture of the modes of yet, to which, uru, transcendental, vibhashi, you are. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Brahma said, O my Lord, today, after many, many years of penance, I have come to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality. My Lord, you are the only knowable object because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not the absolute. You exist as the supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter. So, this is the first verse of prayer. I'm not going to read the whole purport, but I'm want to repeat. I've already made my notes here in the book. So I'm going to repeat some important sections of the purport that, yeah, I'm going to repeat some important sections of the purport which Srila Prabhupada has given for all our benefit, right? So here, most important thing, Prabhupada and Mataji, is in these prayers of Lord Brahma is exactly explaining who is the Supreme Lord. And he is introducing Lord Krishna to all of us without any compromise and with a mood that we all should also surrender to the Supreme Lord. And this is addressed at the end of the chapter. I'm telling you in advance. At the end of the chapter, Lord Krishna appreciates Lord Brahma for these prayers. Right? Lord Krishna appreciates Lord Brahma for these prayers because it is a great service Lord Brahma is doing by introducing the Supreme Lord in the most best manner. And in fact, Lord Krishna at the end of the chapter says, anyone who recites these prayers or prays in this mood or prays with this explanation of me will be as dear to me as you, Brahma. Right? So all of us in the next 1 hour or so, the time that we have, if we try to hear these prayers attentively and make these prayers part of our consciousness and remember these prayers, then Lord Krishna is saying we will be as dear to him as Lord Brahma. Right? What a benediction he's giving, isn't it? So, so I'll say, please be attentive. This is a great opportunity. So in the first verse, Lord Brahma is saying that you have appeared to me after so many penances, after so much I have done tapasya, and I'm so fortunate. And while he is feeling fortunate, Lord Brahma is also feeling how unfortunate are those who are not knowing the importance of knowing the Supreme Lord. Right? This is a perfect mode of a devotee. Is that a devotee in Krishna consciousness, as much as he feels that he is that he's knowing the Supreme Lord, he also feels the pain that why others are not knowing it, why others are not getting it. You know, it's like you have this box of sweets and you know how sweet they are and you want to give it to others and no one is taking it. And you are eating it and it's so nice. Why are you not taking it? No, we are not interested. Come on. You know, like sometimes, you know, I've seen one boy, you know, he doesn't like mangoes. I'm just giving an example. You know, he told me, Prabhuji, I don't like mangoes. I'm like, how can you not like mangoes? Mangoes are the best fruit of the year. You know, like everybody's waiting for the mango season. Now it's going to start again. Summer is going to come. Nice, juicy mangoes, you know, from Satya Prabhu will say, I'll get it from Vijayawada. So those mangoes, I mean, you're like waiting for it and you know how sweet they are and you're experiencing it and you know how nourishing they are. And somebody's saying they don't want it. They don't like it. It's so difficult for us to accept. How can one not like mangoes? I mean, why do you say, and it went to an extent, once I asked the child, he said, I hate mangoes. Like, come on, don't say that. I said, don't say that. Don't say that you hate it. Okay, it's okay if you don't eat it, but let's not talk about it anymore. Because it hurts me. It hurts me that somebody can hate something so sweet. Brahma is having a mood in which he's saying, how unfortunate are people who can't see you, who don't want to see you, who are leading a life with meaningless, when they should know that there's nothing beyond you. Everything is in you, right? Prabhupada starts the purport saying the highest peak of ignorance of living entities who are conditioned by material bodies is that they are unaware of supreme cause of the cosmic manifestation. Right? That is the That is like the peak of ignorance. Now tell me, how many of the people around are actually even aware of where they are? What is cosmic manifestation? They don't even know, right? And the people who don't know God are the people in the highest ignorance. That is how we should understand it. Prabhupada further continues the purport down. Says they only appear wonderful because they are instruments by the hands of the illusion energy of the Lord. Now, this is a very important point. He says even the scientists who are dwelling into this material world and they keep coming up with these videos and theories and conclusions, they're attracted to this material world because even that material world is coming out of the illusionary power of the Supreme Lord. If it is not coming out of the Supreme Lord, then how can it be attractive even to the materialists? So spiritualists are attracted to the spiritual part, materialists are attracted to the material part, but both the attractions are the source coming from Lord Krishna. Understood? It's very important. Yeah. So even a materialistic person can't be happy without the blessings of Krishna. Even the atheist cannot be happy without the blessings of Krishna. That's exactly what Prabhupada is saying, right? And further, Prabhupada says in the next paragraph, in between, he says, by acts of penance only was Lord Brahma able to see the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and by realization only could he understand the Lord as he is. So most important thing, by the acts of penance. By the acts of penance, it is being told. Now, Prabhujis and Matajis, I would like to ask, what is penance? What comes to your mind when you say penance? Like Brahma did penance. Does it mean like doing tapasya and
Austerity, Prabhuji.
austerity? Thank you. Yes. And okay. So what is that austerity? What is that austerity which we all should do?
Chanting the holy names.
Chanting the holy names, biggest austerity. Yes. Yes. Durdaiva Midrisham Ihajanan Anuraga. Chitrama. Oh, I don't have any attraction for you, for those names in which you invested. Yes. What else?
Doing something for the pleasure of Krishna, even if we don't like to do it, even if we have to struggle to do it.
Who is speaking?
Suma Prabhuji, I have cold, so my voice is.
Oh my God, I couldn't even recognize your voice.
Yes.
Mataji, our big music, this thing is coming and your throat is gone. It's a big problem for us.
I'll recover, Prabhuji, today by Krishna's grace.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Can you just repeat what you said, Mataji, once again?
Doing something that we don't have time to do, that we have to struggle to do, that we don't like to do for the pleasure of Krishna is penance.
It is penance. Correct. Correct. Anybody else?
Glorifying the Lord.
Penance.
Yeah, glorifying the Lord is a penance. Yes. Yeah, everybody wants to glorify himself. I am the Archa Vigraha of this colony. Right? Everybody do Abhishekam to me. Everybody dress me. Everybody look at me. Everybody do Sankirtan of me. Right? That's what people say. But glorifying the Supreme Lord is a penance for such a person. Yes. Satyadev Prabhu is saying, for this age, it's taking up voluntary discomfort. Yes. 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 That is penance. So, Prabhuji and Matajis, we should understand. I just mute everyone. Yeah. We should understand why we are here. We are here to be corrected. We are here to be revived. Isn't it? Right? Now let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. We are here to be corrected and we are here to be revived. We are here to be reminded of our constitutional position that we are the servant of the Supreme Lord. And when we get to that position, we go back to Him. Right? So that is a fundamental reason why we are here. So the greatest penance is to accept that. Accept that. Without any complaint, accept that. That I am here to be purified. If you do that, devotional service will start. Problem is we are not accepting it. It's not easy to accept. A materialistic person cannot accept it. he will never accept it because he has come here with an agenda to enjoy with his senses. But the reason why we are here is our purification. And we have to accept it. The moment we accept, that is the greatest penance. If we accept it, then our spiritual life will begin. I'm not saying it will end. That is when it will begin. Where we are accepting our position, right? I mean, when you accept that you are a student in a school, then your education will begin. Isn't it? When you accept that you are a servant of the Lord, then your service will begin. Can you do service without accepting you are a servant? Can you start your education without accepting you are a student? Can you become, how can you start devotional service without accepting why you are here? It's completely, it's not possible. And that is the greatest penance. Whatever that is happening in our life right now or in future, it is happening and it is planned to purify us. And we should not complain. We should not complain on anybody in this world. Why is this happening to me? For example, a husband is going through very difficult time and his wife is not supporting. That is external aspect. But internal aspect is he's going through very difficult time because he's supposed to go through difficult time. And when he accepts that I'm going through a difficult time because I need to go through a difficult time, then he will not complain to his wife or to anybody about his wife that she is not helping me. Whatever that will happen in your life, if you consider that as your duty to do it without any expectation, accepting that this is for my purification, this is planned for me, this existence itself, this life itself, the body itself, with whatever diseases we have, whatever that is going on, accept it. Our parents' problems, children problems, health problems, wealth problems, any problem, materialistic problem, it is only happening to purify us. And we have come here planned to be going through all of them with a smiling face. That's the greatest penance. The day you accept it, your devotional life will begin. Right? So here Brahma is accepting his position. Srila Prabhupada, in his purports in this chapter, beautifully make us prepared for that position by glorifying the Supreme Lord. Right? That, hey Lord, I'm so grateful that you have put me in this position, and now I have to do this duty. Now, there are great people who have been given specific duty by the Supreme Lord. Like Brahma has been given a great duty that he has to create the universe. Right? He has to, secondary creator of the universe. Arjuna's great duty was to do the war. His duty. Right? Uddhava's duty was to go to all the holy places and follow the instructions that were given in the Uddhav Gita. Right? These are specific duties given by the Supreme Lord to some great devotees. Now, what is the duty that he has given to all of us? What is the duty that he has given to all of us? The greatest duty is to serve him unconditionally and uninterruptedly. That is the duty. Right? And our scope of doing it is wide. We can take up any service and do it as a fortune that you are getting that service. That is a duty. Understood? And to do that duty, we have to accept the position in which we are. And then we can do the duty with lot of happiness. Ahaityaki aprahiyata yatma suprasidati. Then we will become happy. When we accept who is God, who am I, and I'm performing this service. Any questions at this point? This is like a foundation of this chapter. Okay. Now, one cannot be happy in this material world. We keep hearing this, right? We keep hearing this again and again. Prabhu, I mean, Prabhu, subah subah kya bol rahe Prabhu? You know, why can't you tell you can be happy? Well, you cannot be happy in this material world because when you construct a building, you construct the most of the time in the foundation work, isn't it? When you construct a building, you spend more time in the foundation part of the building, and then you rise the tower. You can see that happening around you. You know, you can see these construction companies. 30 floors are going up, 35 floors are going up. But the surprising part is, for almost 1.5 years, you don't see a single floor. You only see some shutters. You only see some shutters. 1.5 years, you don't know what's going on inside. When you go and peep inside, you'll see they've gone down. You know, they've gone down and they're building, whatever. Right after 1.5 years, you will see the first floor coming. In the next 4 months, you will see 30 floors coming. You know, which means what? The maximum time is spent on building the foundation because the foundation is going to hold the whole structure, isn't it? Now, in the material world, we are trying to build the structure of happiness through different floors of senses. Right? One floor for hearing through ears, one floor for seeing through eyes, one floor for smelling and enjoying, one floor for touching and enjoying, one floor for. So you have different desires and different floors that you already planned. So if somebody asks how many floors you want to build, I want 100 floors in material world. The 100 ways I want to enjoy. I want to enjoy 100 ways, right? But here is a problem now. What is your foundation? What is your foundation? In the material world, what is your foundation? Your foundation is Asat, Achit, Nirananda. Your body is your foundation, isn't it? Your body is the foundation on which you want to keep all this happiness on top of it. Your body itself is temporary. So where are the 4 pillars that are holding you? Where is that foundation that can hold you for you to feel that happiness? And the body itself is filled with problems. Is karma, is a form given to your karma. And you have to go through it. So where is the foundation? See, this is the most important point that people forget, that I don't have a foundation in this material world. For you to enjoy, you need a foundation. You need to grow on that foundation. What do you want to grow on? There is no foundation. Or even if the foundation is there, it's just a mark of illusion. You can't enjoy it. How many of you can guarantee in the next 5 years you will enjoy with your body? You can't. How many of you can guarantee that you will not fall sick in this week? You can't. How many of you can guarantee that this body will last after this Bhagavatam class? You can't. Even after the Bhagavatam class, you don't know. Next 1 hour you might die. So without a foundation, how can you plan happiness? That's a problem. That's a very big problem. So we have to accept that in this material world, I don't have a foundation. Are you all following? You don't have a foundation. Ledra. Prabhuji, Mataji, Led, foundation Led. Even I just put it. You earn 1 crore salary per month. You earn 10 crore salaries per month. You don't have a foundation to be happy. And your biggest penance is to accept that you don't have a foundation. The only happiness we can derive in this world is by accepting that I don't belong to this world. I belong to Supreme Lord. Prabhupada so many times says that we are like a fish lapping outside water, thinking that that's a place we should be, but we are happy inside the water. So we are in a wrong place, right? So here, Lord Brahma is explaining that by saying these prayers, he's feeling very happy. Because by uttering these prayers, he's making even Lord Krishna very happy. Some Siddhir Haritoshanam. When Lord Krishna is happy with our activities, then we will experience happiness. Not with the activities that we are doing right now. So if somebody is getting a bonus or somebody is getting a promotion in the office or somebody is being recognized for your great contribution for the new technology and blah, 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 you are just a fool. You're wanting to be a fool. There is no meaning in that. It's illusion. Illusion. There's no happiness in that. You just feel a little bit here and there. There's no happiness in that. Right? So understand that our real foundation for being happy in this world is to glorify the Supreme Lord and to re-establish the connection with the Supreme Lord. Then we will be happy. Anything in any other activity, as we go forward, Lord Brahma is going to speak this. So let me read the next verse here. Yeah, next verse here. Haribol. The form which I see is eternally freed from material contamination and has advented to show mercy to the devotees as a manifestation of internal potency. This incarnation is the origin of many other incarnations, and I am born from the lotus flower grown from your navel home. Your navel home. Can you see how Lord Brahma is so beautifully explaining? So he's recognizing from where he has taken birth. Right? And Srila Prabhupada explains here that there are many incarnations of Supreme Lord. Like he says in the purport, I'll read the purport. He says, the incarnations of Vishnu who appear at different ages and times are never to be compared to the conditioned souls. I'll repeat it. The incarnations of Vishnu who appear at different ages and times are never to be compared to the conditioned souls. The Vishnu Tattvas are not to be compared to the deities of Brahma and Shiva, nor are they on the same level. Anyone who compares them is called a Pashandi or infidel. Right? So he is establishing the position of the Supreme Lord. Lord Brahma is establishing the position of the Supreme Lord. He's saying that you are the Supreme, and I'm fortunate that I'm seeing the Supreme person who is the source of all incarnations. Right? Now, he is exactly telling us who is the most worshipable person, Krishna. Right? In third text, O my Lord, I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. In your impersonal Brahman effulgence in the spiritual sky, there is no occasional change and no deterioration of internal potency. I surrender unto you because whereas I am proud of my material body and senses, your lordship is the cause of the cosmic manifestation, and yet you are untouched by matter. Right? Again, he's saying, he's glorifying the position of the Supreme Lord, saying you are untouched by the material world, though it is coming from you. Right? We've heard this many times. So here in the purport, Prabhupada quotes the verse from Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma became aware of the Supreme Lord Krishna, aware that Supreme Lord Krishna has many eternal blissful forms of knowledge. He has described such expansion of Supreme Lord Govinda in Brahma Samhita 5.33. Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Right? The translation of this is, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is non-dual and infallible. He is the original cause of all causes. Even though he expands in many forms, although he is the oldest personality, he is ever youthful, unaffected by old age. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be known by academic wisdom of the Vedas. One has to approach the devotee of the Lord to understand. Now, you should understand that the Supreme Lord is very personal in his dealings, and even in the form that he expands. Right? Like all these forms of the Supreme Lord are to attract us. His original form, Supreme Lord Krishna himself, is to attract us, right? Akarshayati iti Krishna. And he knows how to attract us. He knows exactly how to attract us. And is very personal in his dealings with us. Now, what does this mean? How many wives did Krishna marry in Dwarka? Anybody?
18,000.
16,000.
16,108.
Yeah, 16,108 wives, right? Now, these were the gopis. These were the gopis. I mean, they were like the queens who were kidnapped by this Rakshash, and Krishna and Balaram killed the Rakshash, and then those queens told, "Where can we go? Now nobody will accept us. You are the one who saved us. So can you please marry us?" And he marries, right? We know that he marries. Now, when Acharya was explaining, when I heard this, it was amazing. I heard this in a different discourse that, I mean, obviously, all these Matajis, whom Krishna married, Lord Krishna married, used to look in different ways. They all had different complexions. They all had different height, isn't it? It's not like all the Matajis are the same height, right? Isn't it? All the 16,108 wives that Krishna had were in different forms, different colors, different natures, and different natures. Like Satyabhama's nature is different from Rukmini, right? They are the primeval queens, but they all had different natures. Now, the amazing part is, that Acharya was explaining that in a marriage, now I'm talking about something materialistic. In a marriage, when we are seeing a bride or a groom for our children, or when we were seeing for ourselves, we had some preferences, isn't it? Everybody had some preferences, If I'm too tall, my wife should not be very short. My wife should be tall enough, right? Or, whatever, things. And Lord Krishna knows that what is the expectation of each one of the wives, right? Even though he's going to marry all of them, but he has the expectation of, he knows that it's a personal relationship of that soul with me, and the soul has some expectations. Now it's amazing to hear that Lord Krishna actually satisfied all of them by appearing in a form which they were desiring. Of course, Krishna himself is complete. He doesn't have to do anything different, but he can attract us according to our desire. So I was amazed to hear that actually the height of Krishna was different for each one of the wife, because it's normally a kind of, not a norm, but a kind of expectation that the husband is few inches higher than the wife. Isn't it? I mean, normally, right? I mean, how rarely would you see a wife who is taller than the husband? Whether you call it male ego or whatever you call, but the husband is always at least 1 inch taller or half an inch taller than the wife. Isn't it? Now, the Acharya was explaining that when Lord Krishna expanded himself to marry the 16,108 wives, he actually changed his height also according to that Mataji, so that she is happy that my husband is taller than me. And including his nature also. He changed his nature according to the nature that would attract that Mataji. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Could you hear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
That is how personal is Krishna. And in the same way, we all are attracted to a form of Krishna. We are all attracted to a form of Krishna, and he is going to reveal that form to us when we pray to him. When we finally start devotional service, we will see the form that attracts us. And Krishna has a separate, specific form for every one of us. And we are going to fall in love with that form. That is the beauty. There is a beauty of Krishna consciousness. And which is what we say that we get our Swarupa. And in that Swarupa, we get attracted to that Rupa of the Supreme Lord, which will satisfy us completely. Because we are attached to Krishna for performing certain service. Right? We are attached to Krishna for performing certain service in the spiritual world. And we will gain back that service by gaining back that Swarupa in which we do that service to serve the Supreme Lord in the form that attracts us the most. Somebody is attracted to Krishna as Shama Sundara. Somebody is attracted to Krishna as Gopala. Somebody is attracted to Krishna as Gopinath. Right? So our life will become perfect when we understand how we are attracted to the Supreme Lord. And that form will be revealed to us. Lord Brahma says as we go forward, that form will be revealed to us only when we perform devotional service. Without performing devotional service, that form will not be revealed to us. Exactly like Lord Brahma did. He did the penance of tapasya and deep meditation within, in service. And he was revealed the whole Vedas from within. And the Supreme Lord also revealed him himself externally through his own eyes. He could see Krishna in the form that attracts Brahma. Right? Any questions at this point? Okay, text 4. Satyadev Prabhu is asking, is it the desire of those 16,100 wives in their previous lives which shine? Is it the desire of those 16,100 wives in their previous life which sanctioned by Lord? I didn't understand the question. What is it, Prabhuji?
Prabhuji. Why God has to adjust so much for them? I mean, that's a question. I mean, he said that he adjusted his height, his nature, and everything. Why he has to adjust so much for them?
Because he loves them.
Okay.
Simple.
Yeah.
Because he loves them unconditionally. There is no one who can love us more than Krishna. Never ever. Nobody. Right? But he is the only one who is capable of loving everybody and capable of loving the most. So he loves them. And he exactly knows how to satisfy us. Prabhu, we are all his separated expansions. We are separated expansion, not plenary expansion. Plenary expansion are different. So we are separated. We are coming from him. We are him. We are part of him. He is Bija Pradapita. We are part of him. And he knows how to exactly attract us.
Prabhuji, just in terms of story perspective, like we know that those 16,000 wives were actually, captured by Narakasura. And then when the Lord, fought with Narakasura and released them, they said, okay, we just surrender to you. That's how, as per the story part. But gopis are different, right? Gopis are different from wives, these 16,000. So should we consider that even those 16,000 wives also had the same devotion towards Krishna?
Yes, because without devotion, how would Krishna give them the mercy of his association? In a devotion per se, yes, they were also devotees. But gopis had a special, the gopis of Braj had a special position in the heart of Krishna. Because even though he was with his wives, Acharyas explain that he used to call out the names of gopis. And the wives had a big complaint. What is this? He's with us throughout the day. He's the best husband. And then, he keeps remembering these gopis. So gopis cannot be compared to anyone. But were they devotees? Yes, they were devotees. No doubt they were devotees. But
Okay,
devotion
Prabhuji.
in different moods.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, 16,108, I think the Rishi or who are those, Prabhuji, in the previous life?
Sorry? Previously
The
what?
16,108. Who are those, Prabhuji, basically? There's a story behind this one.
I
There is some-
heard this from Prabhu. I heard this from Prabhu that they were the sages of Naimisharanya who wanted to, who were very attracted to Lord Rama, and they wanted Lord Rama's association in a very personal way. And Lord Rama told, you'll get that in next life.
No, okay, Prabhuji.
Something like that. Yeah. I heard it long time back. I can't really remember the whole explanation. Yeah. So here further in the purport of text 4, Prabhupada says, although the original flame or Sri Krishna is accepted as Govinda, the Supreme Person, all other expansions such as Rama, Narsimha and Varaha are as potent as the original Lord. All such expanded forms are transcendental. Right? So when it comes to Lord Vishnu expansions, Vishnu Tattva expansions, they're equal in all respects as far as Lord Krishna is concerned. Tattva per se. Text 5. Right? Text 5. Yeah. Okay. Did we read the text 4? Yes, we read the text 4. Yeah. Text 5. Oh my Lord, persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet, carried by the air of Vedic sound through the holes of the ears, accept your devotional service. For them, you are never separated from the lotus of their hearts. Hare Krishna. So here, Lord Krishna, Lord Brahma is talking about the spontaneous attraction, right? How the devotees are attracted to the lotus feet of Supreme Lord. They don't want anything else. They are all attracted to his lotus feet. In the purport, last paragraph, Lord, Prabhupada says, Parabhakti or spontaneous love of God is the basis of an intimate relationship with the Lord. The highest stage of relationship with the Lord can be attained simply by hearing about him, his name, form, and qualities, etc., from authentic sources like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, recited with pure, unalloyed devotees of the Lord. So this attraction to his lotus feet and the attraction towards the aroma that's coming from the lotus feet is arising only through the mercy of devotees. Only the mercy of devotees for all of us. So we will also become attracted to Supreme Lord when we when we are like hearing about the Supreme Lord from bona fide sources. Right? Text number 6. Oh my Lord, the people of the world are embraced by all material anxieties. They're always afraid. They always try to protect wealth, body, and friends. They are filled with lamentation and unlawful desires and paraphernalia, and they avariciously base their undertakings on the perishable conception of my and mine. As long as they do not take shelter of your safe lotus feet, they're full of such anxieties. Same thing, right? I was just talking in the beginning about the need for a foundation and building the happiness on that foundation. So these all people without a foundation of devotional of connection with Supreme Lord, they want to be happy, and they try to safeguard that happiness, whatever little they create, to protect their wealth, body, friends, everything, right? And they can never be happy. So Lord Brahma, this is a confirmation from our Sampradaya Acharya that anybody who is trying to be materially happy is always in fear. Anybody who is trying to be materially happy is always in fear. So there's no point trying to be materially happy. Vanilla Mati just sent something. Says it is clear that the sages of Dandakaranya desired conjugal love. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. So here In this verse, it is being told that you cannot be happy. Now, Prabhupada starts his purport with a question, right? He says, one may question, how can one always think of the Lord in regard to his name, fame, and quality? One may question, how can one always think of the Lord in regard to his name, fame, and quality? Always, how can you do that? I mean, we say that we should think, but how can you do that? How can you think of the Lord all the time? For that, Prabhupada gives an answer in the second paragraph, says, a pure devotee of the Lord never thinks of himself as a proprietor of his home. He surrenders everything onto the supreme control of the Lord, and thus he has no fear for maintaining his family or protecting the interests of his family. Right? So here, the most important thing, no ahamkara, that I am not the doer. My family is actually being taken care by the Supreme Lord. Why should I be in anxiety? If you see the position of all pure devotees, they have multiple times they have showed in their own lives that they are not fearful for anything that is happening to their family. Right? Can you give any example that a devotee who is completely fearless for whatever that is happening to his family?
Sitaram Prabhu.
Who is that?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Sita, and I mean in the real society, I mean in our current society, I was just giving an example, Prabhu.
Yeah, whose example again?
Sitaram Prabhu.
Oh, the Sitaram Prabhu. Yeah. He told that. Yeah, he showed that. I'm completely oblivious, Lord Krishna is taking care of me and my family. Yes, very nice.
Bhakta Tukaram Prabhuji.
Bhakta Tukaram, yes. Completely, oblivious. He is like, Krishna will take care, na? Let me continue my service. Whatever happens. Anybody?
Srila Prabhupada in Jaladuta.
Srila Prabhupada himself. Not even from the time he met his spiritual masters, completely like, Krishna is going to take care. His business went down, his business went up. Whatever happened in his life, he's always dependent on Krishna. Right? This is the quality that you see, consistent, that these people, these pure devotees are completely fearless because they don't take a sense of proprietorship. Prabhujis and Matajis, we are all educated people in this satsang, materially educated. And one of the problems that we carry with that material education is the pride that we are educated. We think that our education is worthy of anything at all. We think that this education has given me this job, this salary, this position, and I'm great at doing it. All these are false sense of proprietorship. And this will actually bring misery into your life. When you're not recognized, or when you go through some tough times, or you don't accept it. See, the problem is you don't accept it. How can this happen to me? You become very self-centered. I'm not saying anything wrong about material education, but I'm saying when we remove Krishna out of the equation of our education, when Krishna is not there or not being remembered when we get educated materially, then the problem starts. Anything where Krishna is not there creates fear. Anything. And fear and anxiety. Right? Whereas if you say, oh Krishna, you have given me this intelligence and you have made me do this education and you are making me do this job, so you take care of whatever I have to do. Let me continue my service. You manage my software project. You manage my resource crunch. You manage my whatever client problem. Krishna, you take care. I'm serving you. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best at work given by the skills of you, but you are the controller. You are the controller. You'll be so relieved. So relieved. But we don't do that. Most of the time, like, I am doing it. So we get into so much anxiety. Right? Anxiety will be there, but in that anxiety, if Krishna is there, you'll be happy. You'll be relieved. But anxiety without Krishna, when you want to fix problems in your life without recognizing the role of Krishna, then you'll always be in problems and you'll always be in anxiety. When you get a problem in life, any problem in life, material problem, immediately remember Krishna. That Krishna, thank you. The problem has come. And now you know how you want to fix it. If you want me to serve, you decide how you want to fix it. And I'll continue my service. By the way, I'm just continuing my Buddhist tuition. I'm continuing my satsangs. I'm continuing my. You figure it out. If you really want me to serve you, please fix to whatever extent you want. Or if you don't want to fix, also don't want to fix. Don't fix it. That's your area. That's your forte. You have to do what you do. This cannot be artificially impersonified by all of us. We can't artificially do it. It is a feeling of a pure devotee. So don't try to artificially do, but see how pure devotees have functioned in their life. Oh Krishna, you have brought me here to pass on your message. I don't have any knowledge. I don't even speak good English. My accent cannot be understood by anyone. Now that you have brought me here, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. These are the prayers of our Acharya. Right? You figure it out. You have to use me. You have to use me to serve you. Right? Further, Prabhupada says, a pure devotee may be attracted to accumulating wealth, just like an ordinary man, but the difference is that a devotee acquires money for the service of the Lord, whereas the ordinary man acquires money for his sense gratification, sense enjoyment. Right? So here is the point. Should devotees earn money?
Yes, Prabhuji, and use it for the service of Krishna.
Yeah. Should devotees earn more money?
Yes, Prabhuji, again for the service.
Lots of money?
Yes, Prabhuji, again for service.
Jai, Mataji got it. because when you're earning for Krishna, when you're earning, keeping Krishna in the center, when you're complete, then you become completely unattached. And Prabhupada beautifully concludes in the purport. He says, if a snake has its poison removed and bites a man, there is no fatal effect. Similarly, wealth accumulated in the cause of the Lord has no poisonous teeth, and the effect is not fatal. Wow, what a way Prabhupada explained that. You say, a snake whose venom is removed, his teeth, what will his teeth do? Even though it's a snake, even though it's a snake with teeth, what can the teeth do? In the same way, when you remove your enjoyment from your wealth and recognize every wealth of yours as Krishna's wealth, then that wealth will actually give you happiness. Or else the wealth will only give you anxiety. Arthamainda? Chala important. So that this thought, if this thought is in your consciousness, then you are completely relieved. Isn't it? How do you recognize Krishna with your wealth? Will you put a picture of Krishna outside your house? Or how will you recognize Krishna with your wealth? Anybody? How will you recognize Krishna with your wealth?
By spending the wealth for Krishna conscious activities.
Yes, by spending. Yes, very nice.
By going to yatras.
Yes.
By understanding that it's Krishna's wealth, not mine.
Yes. By using it, by trying to see every opportunity, how can I use it in Krishna's service? Every opportunity. You're trying to say, I have a house in Bangalore. Okay. So how can I give it to a devotee? Okay, on rent, but I want a devotee to conduct satsang there. I want to facilitate that devotee in all ways. I have a house in Hyderabad where I live. How can I use my house for a satsang? The day you feel devotees will come and destroy your house during a satsang, you will be in anxiety. But the day you feel that this house is Krishna's, I am living in this house. House is Krishna's. He is calling his guests. Who am I to comment on this? You'll be happy. Prabhuji and Matajis, there cannot be any damage that can happen to you without Krishna's sanction. there cannot be any reward that can happen to you without Krishna's sanction. So what is your complaint? Use everything in Krishna's service. Whether or not you have registered the property in the name of Krishna doesn't matter. Right? Somebody can give a huge temple to Krishna and yet be attached to the temple, saying that I have given this temple. So what is the temple? Use everything in Krishna's service. Everything. Use your job in Krishna's service. Job. You can do it in many ways. Use your salary in Krishna's service. Use your influence in Krishna's service. Your LinkedIn connections in Krishna's service. Your flat, your villa, your land, your body in Krishna's service. Your wealth, your education in Krishna's service. Whichever way, try to do it. And you'll be happy. And you'll not be in anxiety with all those things. Because Krishna is the one who has to protect it. Now see Krishna, see, look at Prabhupada. Right? He told that Lord Krishna, this Juhu temple is yours. You figure it out how you want to acquire it. Right? I mean, this is my gift to you, and I'm going to work for it. But ultimately, you have to make it happen. And it came to Prabhupada. So many temples of ISKCON came to ISKCON because of Lord Krishna's mercy. See, recently I was speaking to two very nice Prabhupada disciples in Mayapur. While I was having lunch, I knew one of them in Atlanta. I forgot the Prabhuji's name. My wife knows his name. So he's an African American. He looked at me and I said, Prabhu, I want to spend some. He said, please sit down. So and another Prabhupada disciple came. And at one point, we all were sitting. And we were discussing, they were asking me, what am I doing? Where am I serving and all that. Right? And they were so happily sharing the pastimes, the dependence they had, and the miracles that happened during the time of Prabhupada. Completely. And they were, and then at one point I asked, Prabhus, you all should tell us how every single temple of ISKCON came. Because that's a treasure of knowledge which will go away after you go. Because every temple of ISKCON, whether it's a small temple or a big temple or a house or whatever was given to ISKCON, had a big story behind it. Right? And it came to ISKCON in a very miraculous way. In a very miraculous way. How Prabhupada dealt with it, how it came. I mean, just think about it. Prabhupada sent some devotees to Paris, and there is a temple in Paris. Prabhupada sent some devotees to Japan, there is a temple in Japan. Who gave these temples? How did it come? Right? It's a big mystery. And I was requesting them, can you write a book? Can you think of writing a book for all the temples of Prabhupada, how they came? And they were like, yeah, Prabhu, I think that's a good idea. I was like, Prabhuji, please do it. Because, we will never know. And it's so encouraging to know how these temples came. So we understand the great sacrifices done by the devotees. And we also can get inspired to follow your footsteps. Like that. So I don't know. I was very happy to get that association that day. So text 7. O my Lord, persons who are bereft of all auspicious performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of good sense. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while. So Brahma is saying that, actually tell me, what is the problem with sense gratification? Why do we say sense gratification is bad?
It is
very
binding in the
temporary.
material one.
Yeah, one, it is temporary.
It is binding in the material.
It's obstacle in our spiritual life.
It binds you to the material world, and it's an obstacle to the spiritual life.
It's on the platform of body consciousness.
It's on the platform of bodily consciousness. The more you try to perform sense gratification, the more you will become dependent on your body for happiness.
Yeah.
Like See, I want to eat nicely. I want to enjoy nice food. I want to enjoy rasgulla. I want to enjoy gulab jamun, and I'm enjoying. One day I get diabetes. Then I suffer because I can't do that. So the more you're dependent on your body for sense gratification, right, you will suffer because the body itself is temporary and everything is going to come up with a reaction, right? But sense gratification, serving the sense of the Supreme Lord is superior. Is not. It's not a devotee should not have sense gratification, but not sense gratification from his body, sense gratification from Krishna's body. That's the only difference. See, how can you deny sense gratification? Come on, you cannot deny sense gratification. All of us are getting sense gratified in devotion also, but that sense gratification is coming. The happiness from this sense gratification is coming in relation to Krishna, right?
Yes, yes.
I like to hear nice music. In that Krishna song is there. I like to see something like Ambarish Maharaj's verse, right? And he used to touch devotees. He used to smell aroma of the flowers that are offered to the Supreme Lord. He used to see the deities. He used to serve the devotees, right? He used to taste the prasadam remnants of the devotees. Sense gratification is there. But in this sense gratification, there is gratification of Krishna's senses. So, Prabhupada Mata is bhakti doesn't mean rejecting sense gratification. Bhakti meaning accepting sense gratification of Supreme Lord. And we taking the remnants and gratifying our senses. Senses are controlled. Senses are controlled when the controller of the senses is satisfied. Right? What an explanation by Prabhupada. Senses are controlled when the controller of the senses is satisfied, not your senses are satisfied. Your senses are satisfied only when he is satisfied, because the control of the senses. Anyways, so here in the purport, Prabhupada says, I'll read the purport. The next question is why people are against such auspicious activities of chanting and hearing the glories and pastimes of the Lord, which can bring total freedom from the cares and anxieties of material existence. The only answer to this question is that they are
Mudas.
They are unfortunate. Prabhupada says they are unfortunate. They are unfortunate because of supernatural control due to their offensive activities performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. Very important. The Lord's pure devotees, however, take compassion upon such unfortunate persons and in a missionary spirit try to persuade them into the line of devotional service. Only by the grace of the pure devotees can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of transcendental service. Prabhupada and Matajis, people don't come to satsangs because they are too attached to sense gratification. People don't come to satsangs because they have committed offenses for performing those sense gratification. This is the point Prabhupada is driving here. Why people don't come attracted, why people don't come to hear and chant about the Supreme Lord is because they're attracted to sense gratification and they have performed activities to perform their sense gratification in which they offended devotees. How dangerous is it? You're coming to satsang. If you're coming to satsang for sense gratification, you are doomed. What are the complaints of a devotee who comes to satsang for sense gratification? Can anybody tell? I'll repeat the question. What are
Prasadam is not good. Prasadam is not good, Prabhu.
What are the complaints of a devotee who comes to satsang for sense gratification?
Prasadam is not good.
Yes, Prasad Prabhu. Yeah.
Prasadam is not good.
Yeah, I heard
It
you.
doesn't have a variety.
I heard you loud and clear.
Prasad Prabhu is saying Prasad is not very good.
Yeah. What are the other complaints of devotees when they come to satsangs?
Satsang is too long, too many satsangs, not letting me do anything else.
What else?
How can we manage 3 hours?
How can we?
How can we manage 3 hours satsang?
My God, your mic is too close to your mouth. Just go ahead. What did you say? Can you repeat it slowly?
How can we manage 3 hours of satsang? 3 hours of satsang.
Lilananda Prabhu
He's telling satsang is too long, Prabhu. 3 hours is too much.
Oh. Anyway.
Lilananda Prabhu is keeping our entire week houseful.
Perfect.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Please forgive me.
Ayyo, Prabhuji, I'm just
Prabhuji.
telling the answer, Prabhuji, for your question.
No, give some time. I'll finish the class. You're coming. Hare Krishna. 9 o'clock will do. Hare Krishna. So, yeah, what are the complaints? What are the complaints a devotee has to?
Nobody talks to me. Nobody pays attention to me.
Nobody talks to me. Nobody honors me.
Regulative principles.
Pros and Matajis. Okay. Choose to answer this. How many of you have gone to a beauty parlor? At least one time, everybody would have gone. Isn't it?
No, I didn't go.
You didn't go? No. We are all going to beauty parlor every Sunday because that beauty parlor is ISKCON. ISKCON purifies us internally, makes us beautiful internally, and actually makes us see the real beauty within us. Do you all accept it?
Yes, Prabhuji. Very nice. Yes.
Nice analogy, Prabhu.
This is the beauty parlor, Prabhu. This is the beauty parlor, right? So if someone says, "Where are you going this Sunday?" What will you tell?
Going to beauty parlor.
Beauty parlor.
Of Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam beauty parlor.
Prabhuji, it's not sounding good, Prabhu.
Because I mean it's okay. Let them get jealous of it. Let them, the materialistic people, get. Oh, every week you go. How long do you go? How long do we go to beauty parlor?
2 hours. 3 hours.
And this weekend, how many beauty parlors we are going?
3.
And now we have a beautician coming from Bombay to beautify us, who is an expert to beautify us. Now, when I say beauty, what is the beauty here? What is that beauty?
Soul's beauty.
The beauty. Sorry, mute. Yeah. The beauty that attracts Krishna. The beauty that attracts Krishna is that. You understanding? The beauty that attracts Krishna is that beauty. And we are going to beauty parlor called Satsang, where somebody is in traffic. Yeah. Ram Reddy Prabhu, don't unmute yourself, please. Thank you. Yeah. So, I was just saying that we're all going to this beauty parlor, which actually makes us beautiful from within. From within. And what is the beauty from within? Is that we all attract Krishna. When we go to Satsang, we become beautiful in the way that Krishna wants us to become. Right? We try to follow the footsteps of the great acharyas and we become beautiful. We try to follow the footsteps of the gopis of Vrindavan and we become beautiful. We try to follow the footsteps of Arjuna in Mahabharata and we become beautiful. Right? So beauty, external beauty is what materialistic people are attracted to. Internal beauty is what we are attracted to. Is Krishna also attracted to? And Satsang is the parlor. What do they do in beauty parlor? Come on. You go with your nonsense to beauty parlor, and they put so many chemicals and this and that, and they beautify you, and then they remove all the dirt, and they try to change your complexion, and they try to do everything to beautify you, isn't it? And that's exactly how what happens in satsang also. Just think about it. What is happening in satsang? Prabhupada is telling things, or we are repeating what Prabhupada is telling, our great acharyas are telling, which will remove our materialistic attachments and which will increase our spiritual foundation. And we are creating a beautiful face which is going to smile. And that smile will attract Krishna. Right? So that is satsang for us. So so the sense gratification. So are we sense gratifiers? We are sense gratifiers who want to gratify the senses of Krishna. Yes. We are sense gratifiers who want to gratify the senses of Krishna. And Krishna will gratify our senses. He will. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. And reverse is yayatma suprasidati. Right? Your atma will become happy. We don't do it with the expectation that you'll become happy, but we'll automatically become happy because we are coming from him. When he is happy, how can we not be happy? When God is happy, how can we not be happy? Right? Did you all follow Prabhuji and Mataji's?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So thank you for coming on Ekadashi morning to another beauty parlor, virtual beauty parlor. I'm just quoting this is my thought. You don't have to repeat it anywhere. Hare Krishna. So text number 8. Oh great actor, my lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion, and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong sex urges and indefatigable anger. I take pity on them, and I'm very much aggrieved for them. He's talking about materialistic people, right? Sense gratifiers, where there is no Krishna. They are people with hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretile, bile, so many rains, all seasonal, everything is going on. Huh? Yeah. So at the end of this purport, Prabhupada says, Lord, the devotees of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish materialistic sense enjoyers are as confidential the Lord as Lord Brahma. So Prabhuji and Mataji's, when we are preaching, we become so dear to Lord Krishna that he considers as equal to Lord Brahma. Prabhupada is saying. Because we bring these people, these souls who have rebelled against the Supreme Lord and are going away voluntarily, we are bringing them back to the Supreme Lord. So Lord is very, very happy. Text 9. O my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense gratification, sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of the material desires, being influenced by your external energy. So, actually, the material miseries are unfactual for the soul. There is nothing called material misery for a soul. Is transcendental. It is eternal. What do you call material misery? If a soul fails in 10th grade, does it have any meaning to what I just told? A soul failing in 10th grade? Provision Mataji's? A soul lost its job in Amazon. Does it make any sense? No. Right? These are all, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense gratification, he cannot get out of the entanglement of the material miseries. That is what is being told. And Prabhupada starts the purport of this beautifully. He says, the whole trouble of the living entity in material existence is that he has an independent conception of life. He is always dependent on the rules of the Supreme Lord in both the conditioned and liberated states. But by the influence of the external energy, the conditioned soul thinks himself independent of the supremacy of the personality of God. That is a problem. Your independence is a problem. Brothers and Matajis, don't try to become independent even within a satsang. Never ever do that mistake. We are strong, you are strong, I am strong, Mataji is strong, she is strong because we are strong. And we are strong because our teachers are strong. And our teachers are strong because we are part of this parampara. If you are preaching independent, separately, and not connected to a larger ecosystem of devotees, you are in big trouble. Independence in this material world is danger. It's very big danger. Did everybody understand this? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So text 10. Such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work, and they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculations. They are frustrated in all their various plans with supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world. Even great sages, that's being mentioned at the end. And Prabhupada gives a big purport for this verse. And he says in the first paragraph, the owners of such factories are engaged in finding a market for their industrial products, and the laborers are engaged for extensive production involving huge mechanical arrangements. Now here is the punchline, Prabhupada. Factory is another name of hell. Jai Prabhupada. I mean, just see the purport. He says factory. Factory means what? Don't think you're not working away. You're working in a software factory. That is also a factory. It doesn't have to be a producing factory. Factory is another name of hell. Why? Because owner is busy trying to find market for your products, and labor is trying to work day and night to create those products. At night, hellishly engaged persons take advantage of wine and women to gratify their tired senses, but they are not even able to have sound sleep because their various mental speculative plans constantly interrupt their sleep. They can't even sleep properly because they're planning during the sleep also. One day my boss came to me and, first thing in the morning, hey Lakshman, yesterday night I got a plan. I said, when did you get? I was dreaming about a plan. I said, wow, pray. This fellow couldn't even sleep peacefully. Plan for what? To create a customer base which you can lose in a second. Have you seen the recent case of Adani? It's so famous, right? Without commenting on whatever the controversies are there or not there. What happened to the investors who invested in him saying that they are going to become rich? The richest person on the planet, the classic, right? The second richest person on the planet suddenly became the seventh richest person on the planet. What is the basis of that richness? What is the basis of that richness? How can somebody become the second and how can suddenly become the seventh? Or now I don't know what is his position now. Or anybody's position for that matter. Earlier, who was there before him as the second must have become third or fourth. So the richness that we are comparing to is not richness. It's pure illusion. Where are you living? I'm living in Gachibowli, in Tellapur, in Nanakramuda, in Kajagoda, and this and that. As compared to living in Saidabad or this other side of the old city. Doesn't matter. All that is illusion. Are you happy? In association of devotees is what matters. We are rich because we are in satsang. We are poor if we are not in satsang. Simple. You're not in satsang, you're poor. Because you cannot be happy. What use is that richness if it doesn't give you happiness? All these people who are against the principle of devotional service are destined to rotate in this material world without fail. Prabhupada is saying anybody who doesn't perform devotion is destined to just rotate. And Prabhupada further goes about the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord. He says, even though the Lord's impersonal feature and all-pervading localized feature cannot be on the equal level to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, there cannot be any religion or system of genuine philosophy for advancement of the living entities without the principle of devotional service. there cannot be a religion without devotion. There cannot be a spiritual path without devotion. Unfortunately, today in the YouTube, there are spiritual paths only without devotion. Nobody talks about devotion. They talk about some stone, some attraction to the stone. They talk about some meditation, attraction to that meditation. That's all. Nobody talks about devotion. And all these paths are bogus. All these paths are meaningless. As per Prabhupada. This is the purport. It's very clearly telling it. Right? So furthermore, he says, he quotes from Bhagavatam, he says, persons who are falsely under the impression of this being liberated, they think they go to Brahmajyoti, but they're not happy there. They again fall down. This is quoted in verse 10th Canto, 2nd chapter, 32nd verse, that you actually fall down, even though you try to find happiness in the Brahmajyoti. Right? Text 11. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form for the transcendence in which they always think of you. Right? They are so happy hearing. They're so happy. Their hearts are cleansed. Their hearts are cleansed means what? I just not told. Beauty parlor. You are being cleansed. When you come to satsang, you are being cleansed. Your heart is becoming clean. So you are more and more happy. Right? Unfortunate thing is, in spite of knowing this, people don't want to be happy. They still have a hope that outside they'll find happiness. We tell them, Prabhus, please come, Matajis, please come to satsang. Please. No, I think, sometimes I'll go somewhere else. I think I'll find happiness there. You cannot find happiness in this material world where there is no Krishna. Get convinced of this. You cannot. The best time that you can engage your soul is in satsang. The best time. And the only time you'll actually find happiness is in between devotees. The only relationships which will give you security and love is devotees. No other relationship will give you that. We have to get convinced on this. We keep saying this, but to get convinced on this. Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotee, so that he manifests his particular form as the devotee demands. Right? See? He's saying, as the devotee demands, he even adjusts his form. Like I just sometime back I told, the wives of Krishna in Dwarka. Furthermore, in the Prabhupada says, by his bona fide hearing process, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all material rubbish, and thus he becomes attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord as described in the Vedas. Form mentioned in the Vedas. Prabhuji and Mataji is very clearly Prabhupada is saying we have to get attracted to the form mentioned in the Vedas, not the form that we whimsically create. No, that's not the form. Each and every living entity is originally attached to a particular type of transcendental service because it is eternally the servitor of the Lord. I've just underlined some very important statements. This attachment of a particular form to the Lord is called Swarupa Siddhi. What do you mean you get back your Swarupa? Is when you are attracted to a particular form of a Lord, particular service of a Lord. In that particular service, you get a particular form which is eternally there in the spiritual world. That is your real attraction. That's when you'll become happy. How many of you are eager to know your Swarupa Siddhi? How many of you are eager to start that service or to continue that service that you're really happy to do? How many of you are eager to be attracted to that form? Text 12. I think we'll stop it here. It's a working day. Praveen Prabhu, can we continue tomorrow, Saturday?
Tomorrow's class is from Ayer Prabhu.
Yeah.
Ayer Prabhu is here?
Yeah. No, I had told if I can't finish this today, which highly unlikely to finish so many verses, I'll continue it and Ayer Prabhu can do after I finish.
Prabhuji, it's very interesting to hear from you. I love that if you are taking class tomorrow and Sunday, My Home Jewel morning sessions are there. So Giriraj Prabhuji can continue from there.
Okay, sure. So Giriraj Prabhu, then in that case, you prepare for the chapter 10.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Right? So I'll try to finish this remaining.
Yeah, please do, Prabhuji. Tomorrow you can complete this, and wonderful to hear.
I'll have a hard stop at 9. But anyway, see, Prabhuji, I'm trying to conclude this saying that beautiful chapter which takes us into karma, jnana, dhyana, all yogas, exactly like Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Brahma is praising us how we should perform devotional service and ultimately attain the attraction of Krishna and get his blessings. So we can perform our duty. So please forgive me if I spoke anything inappropriate. Any questions? One question we can take and close. It's 9 o'clock.
Prabhuji, you talked about not being independent. So does that mean every small things we have to go check with our superiors, or what is that line we have to draw?
No, checking with superiors whenever it's needed is okay. But we should also understand that Krishna has given us the God-given intelligence. I mean, Krishna has given intelligence, right? Matta smriti jnanam. Jnanam he has given, intelligence he has given, knowledge he has given. So we should use that in service of Krishna. But in principle, we should always remain among the association of devotees, among the satsang. We should always remain, even though whatever we are doing in our as a service, whatever service we are doing, we should remain with the devotees. We should work with the devotees. Don't try to become independent. That independent nature can slowly bring back your material propensities. You don't have to consult everything. You can use your intelligence. Krishna given intelligence.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, not losing. I mean, trying to be dependent doesn't mean you have to ask questions. Trying to be dependent means you know their importance in your life. See, Prabhu, when I'm in association, I will not do nonsense. When I'm in association, I'll try to remain clean. When I'm not in association, I can do anything I want. I can wear anything I want. I can spend anything I want. I can do anything I want. Right? That independence is very dangerous. Especially we who are working in an industry which pays us more than what we deserve. Very, very vulnerable that we can feel very independent. When you get a big package or a big wealth, or a big position, become very independent. That independence crops into you. This is very dangerous for spiritual life. Very good for material life, but very dangerous for spiritual life. That you should also become as humble. That is the reason the great devotees in ISKCON, like Ambarish Prabhu, who is owner of Ford, like Krishna, Mafatlal Prabhu, forgot his name. So they all take up menial services. They all take up menial services to remain humble in devotional life, even though they are in very high positions in material. Many, not just told two devotees, many are there worldwide who are multi-billionaires also in devotees. Like recently in ISKCON ILS, we were speaking, there was a session in the morning where the very rich established devotees around the world are coming and explaining how they can engage their wealth in Krishna consciousness and how they have to become good businessmen. Like Radha Giridhar Prabhu and forgot few other names from one devotee from Dubai. Don't become independent, even though whatever become material. Always remain in association of devotees. Take up menial services. That's the principle. Okay, so thank you very much, and please bless that me and my family will continue whatever the service that we have picked up, and we actually follow what we speak. This association of devotees, all of you, is the most greatest treasure, and that there is nothing else more important than all of you in our lives. So please bless us that our spiritual desires will be fulfilled. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavatam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Prabhu, sorry, Prabhu, మధ్యలో ఒకసారి unmute అయ్యింది.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry, Prabhu. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Have a wonderful Ekadashi.